If you're an Xbox fan, I have to say, some of you are quite annoying. And I say it in the in the most dearest way, but from a position of fatigue and a little bit of frustration. It's not all the Xbox fans. Don't get me wrong. And I'm going to point out exactly who I mean. It is some of these talking heads that claim to be Xbox fans that have no business sense, that cannot comprehend simple math, that cannot look at the market, that will not take 2 and 2, add them, or 4 and 2 and subtract them, and then come up with the most insane conclusions ever. In my last video, I talked about how Push Square was pushing this analyst's, conclusion that the reason the PS5 Pro is $700 because of Xbox's lack of competition. What's actually crazy is that I saw the article get retweeted by a so-called Xbox fan. I'm not putting their name on here, but I keep seeing these folk capitulate to the nonsense narrative that's being spread out here. And I have to say to myself, is it that they don't know what's going on, or is it that they're just closing their eyes and burying their heads in the sand when it comes down to what in the world, this whole console business is looking like? Because at the end of the day, when you think about the strategic value that Xbox actually provides, it's better than PlayStation. It is. Like, PlayStation subscription model, which is one of its biggest money earners, is actually inferior to Game Pass. When you actually pit them side by side to each other and you open your wallet and put it on the table, there is better value having Xbox. When you think, okay, I need to get into the Xbox ecosystem, how do I get in? You have a lower price point. You have the Series S. You have the Series X, which is basically close to the PS5 Pro. Xbox is selling you a console that's close to the competitor's mid-gen refresh for a fraction of the price of the competitor's mid-gen refresh. PlayStation right now is in a position where their games are sitting in studios for 6, 7, 8 years. Xbox has a plethora of games to provide. Yet, these folk are complaining about some list war. That's all they're here to do. Your console has more games than my console, when in reality, the list war is being proven over and over again that it doesn't work. With companies like Square Enix openly declaring their love for PlayStation fans. With, development studios that made, like the indie studio that made Entoria. Right? Remember when they said, oh, PlayStation is blessed. Xbox is blessed with a huge fan base. Remember when they said that? Xbox is blessed. And so we're looking forward to coming and serving the Xbox fan base. 30 million users, by the way. And somehow they're complaining that Indiana Jones is going to PlayStation. Indiana Jones is going to PlayStation because it's an expensive game that Bethesda negotiated and greenlit. That game is expensive. The 30% that PlayStation is going to get from that game is not worth Xbox eating a loss and depending on PC and their own console to carry. It's not worth it at all. They don't want to end up in the Spider-Man, 2 situations. So they're going to go ahead and and share that cost across the industry. If they could get a Switch version, I guarantee you they would have done it. And so I think these pro Xbox accounts that are here with doom and gloom need to be called to account because they are not wanting to engage in critical thinking. They're acting like children, 5-year-olds, because I can guarantee you that there are 13-year-olds that can think about this proposition way better than a lot of these so-called people that are running Twitter accounts. It makes you really question, though. Who are we listening to and who are we taking seriously in this conversation? Because those who really are looking at what's going on, you can see that if PlayStation has already canceled and deleted one of its own live service games, they don't provide anything inherently better for you. They don't. They want to bring 10 more. They've lost the Activision stronghold. It's been gone to their competitor. And so what do they want to do? They want to go ahead and find another way to make money. Square Enix is over there saying, how they're changing their policy to now be multi-platform. Those on the Xbox side that are saying that Xbox needs to money hack games like PlayStation, why would they do that? They have their own studios. They're not lacking in studios. They're not lacking in titles being made. They have their own Game Pass ecosystem where they don't need to money hack a game. When the game is all said and done, The game will come to Game Pass anyways. All you have to do is just occupy yourself playing games that are available, which many of you have you have, what do they call it? You have a backup of games that you haven't touched. They know that. There's an oversaturation of games in the market. And I think a lot of these folk have just buried their head in the sand and have thought somehow that PlayStation had a superior business model. They didn't. They've been taking those live service monies from Call of Duty. Almost $1 billion a year PlayStation was farming from Call of Duty and putting it into their ecosystem and blocking games from Xbox all this while. The whole Wukong thing right now, we don't have any confirmation that PlayStation did not money had that game. What we have, though, is from journalists that have staked their reputation on it to say that it seems like PlayStation went in there and some transaction was done as a convenience for PlayStation to get that particular version first, of which at the end of the day, most PlayStation fans have not even bought Black Myth Wukong. It's most folk in Asia, China especially, PC, Steam, WePlay, which is Tencent's platform, that have basically carried that game. So at the end of the day, I think we're just in a spot where we really need to look at these folk and say, hey, what is this nonsense that y'all are saying? As Xbox sits as the most competitive console platform that you can get in right now from a value perspective. If gamers don't value, or if some gamers, and not all gamers, if some gamers don't value, there's nothing you can do about it. They want to blow their money, or they prefer a platform and are willing to spend what it takes. That's their business. But for those of you who actually are money savvy, who realize and understand that a lot of these games, when they come out, if nobody buys them, they'll eventually sell them for a humble price or bundle them, humble bundle or some, thing like that will give you in a sale. You understand where the value is. You understand where your wallet is enjoying itself. Game Pass Ultimate. Those subscription services are premium subscription services. In fact, according to PlayStation, they're perfect subscription services. Look at it. Elusive perfect game subscription. So why are people not engaging in it? Why are these so-called folk who are never satisfied with anything being the ones to be the forefront of this conversation? Because that's all human behavior. I even see them. I see some Xbox fans say, what else does Xbox have apart from Game Pass? My dude, they gave you the world and you still want more. That's crazy human behavior. Never satisfied with anything. Always looking for what's next and what's better. What next do they want? They want Xbox to hold all these games so they can their platform can look good. When Xbox players themselves, as much as I'll criticize PlayStation players for not buying games, most Xbox players themselves are playing Call of Duty themselves. So why should Xbox hold Indiana Jones exclusive? Why? Xbox fans have not given them a reason to do that. If Xbox fans were going to convert Indiana Jones, at like 25%, they could look and say, okay, we can then make up the rest from PC. But that's not going to be the case, especially that Indiana Jones is not even that popular. So they got to sell it where they can sell it. That's called being business savvy. I can't believe that we have to actually explain this stuff to people, which the demographics for gamers are getting older every day. And yet we have to actually explain this stuff to people who are actually supposed to know. It's quite disappointing. I feel it's the most disappointing thing I've ever seen. I digress. Let me hear your thoughts in the comment section. Thanks for watching the video. Peace out.